Alrighty, what's going on, guys? We are live and we got an echo. Welcome to the show. Give me 1 second. What's up, Todd Father?
My man.
I'll fix this shit.
Yeah, so you rectify.
Shit. I was worried about this.
Yeah, it's good to go.
Yes. All right, guys, give me 1 second. My apologies. What the hell do we have?
It's warm and the weather change.
I don't know where it's coming from. Yeah, give me a second. Check, check. 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Do you have it? Echo?
Check.
No echo?
Check, no.
All right.
Check 1, 2.
Guys, welcome back. Late Night Green interview edition. What's going on, guys? My apologies. Sometimes you think you have things right and you don't. So my apologies. What's going on, Todd Father?
Man, everything is groovy. You know what I'm saying? The weather changing. It's
Man,
warm.
the weather is sweet.
You know what I'm saying? So, time to get out.
Yeah.
I even watched the car yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, man.
So it looks good. I
had
didn't
to
get
watch
to see
the
it
Jeep
yet.
up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looks good.
I didn't even want to run in no mud today.
Nah, you got to be careful after you wash it.
Give me 2 days with that.
At least 2 days. You got to get at least 2 days out of a wash. So, all right, cool. I'm glad that worked out for you. Tonight, guys, we've got a really good and interesting interview coming your way. Do you remember 3 weeks ago we did a story?
I don't remember nothing farther than a week ago.
You stupid man. What about a story we talked about, New Jersey delivery system? Do you remember that?
I remember that.
All right, so we did a story on that, and Control Room, do you have that video ready? All right, and I'm going to introduce our guest in a second. I'm going to ask him how we did. Go ahead and let's play this story that we did 3 weeks ago. Full screen.
Scaling the New Jersey cannabis delivery with drivers. Mm-hmm. So they're expanding their services throughout New Jersey, and they're using local contract drivers. Now, some of these drivers are in cars, some of these drivers are on e-bikes. And it's pretty interesting. They started in New Jersey with Blue Violet Dispensary in Hoboken, and now they're partners with 6 other dispensaries, including the Station in Hudsonica in Hoboken, Bay Street Greenery in Jersey City, the Frosted Nug in Red Bank, and they're planning more launches soon. Priscotty, they use a hybrid delivery model, like I said, with both e-bikes and cars.
Yep. And New Jersey is not their first state, so these guys started out west, I believe in Arizona.
That was not in the
New
article.
Mexico.
Yeah, I believe they started. What was that, Jeff? I thought he was talking to me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I believe these guys started out in Arizona.
There they go.
Wow.
And they got our logo on the back. That's
Isn't
great.
that nice?
There you go.
So the drivers get paid like $10 per delivery, plus tips. And they can get 2 to 3 deliveries an hour is what
Yeah.
they're figuring, plus tips. So they're saying as much as $48 an hour.
Yeah,
so that would be
that's
like,
not a bad little hustle there.
yeah, that would be 3 deliveries, $10 each, plus maybe $18, $6 per delivery for a
I
tip.
mean, if you got enough volume and it's close enough, you can make some money
You
doing
know,
it.
younger,
And people are
older,
gonna tip,
retired,
and they'll tip.
younger.
You're gonna get
Driving, I
tips.
couldn't
Right.
do it.
And it's
little
gig
part-time
flexible
thing for some
parking.
people.
I'm not a great driver anyway.
Well, I mean, listen, I think this is kind of cool because, what they're doing is they're taking a model that can work in different states.
Right.
And they're
it's scalable.
And it's scalable. And so, it's so what's this say?
Well, apparently one of their big deals is their technology infrastructure. They have real-time tracking and secure handoffs. I don't know if that's what it's saying up there. Brings both energy and integrity.
Okay, so they
So they're helping dispensaries to launch competent delivery without building in-house. A lot of times they want to places want to
everything's
build
out,
in-house, right?
Don't have any inside costs.
So it's like you're outsourcing your delivery system.
Do you ever get delivery?
Actually, I haven't. Actually, I got it one time out in Arizona, but no, not here. I haven't used it.
Okay. But you could.
Yeah, I could.
That's pretty cool.
Have you gotten a delivery?
I have my sister.
And who delivers it?
Well, I was in California with my sister, so that's the only delivery I've
Yeah,
ever.
they have delivery systems
And
there.
I
I just never
mean-
used it.
They do. I've seen it. I
We
just
have
don't know
it.
anybody that's done it.
I'm trying to get
Are
out the house.
I mean, you're talking about the legal.
All right. Well, guys.
Massachusetts,
All right,
once
let's
hailed
go.
as the East Coast
let's stop
cannabis
that.
gold rush.
All right. Let's welcome to the show our guest tonight, Scott Prisco from Priscotty. Welcome to the show, Scott. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, guys? How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm fucking chilling, man. It was a nice day today, so it was killer. It was killer.
Yeah,
so
good to see you.
It's a good day. It's a good day. Good to see you too, as well.
So how did we do on that story? I wanted to play it first so you could take a look at it and then you can grade it. Give us, and I know I got the whole started in Arizona thing wrong. I figured that out afterwards.
So well, someone said New Mexico first, like in the mix. So that was correct. It was New Mexico. But the AI Scott on that is just too funny. Like that cracked me up as soon as I saw that, and I died. I think I was high too when I saw that. And I was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Well, you can create very creative images nowadays, man. So we took the liberty to put our logo on one of the bags of the delivery drivers. We didn't figure.
I like it.
Todd said you wouldn't mind.
Get me some bags. We'll give them to our drivers.
Let's
there you
go.
go.
Let's go. So Scott, go ahead.
We can't promote. There can't be like delivery company, or by law, there can't be delivery company or dispensary logos on the bags. But Late Night Green is it's not a retailer.
That's
so
a different story.
Well,
Well,
and the security
we're in
too.
we're in the clear.
yeah. Well, you and I we'll talk later about that. But here's what people want to know. They want to know about you. They want to know about the company. So I figured the best way to accomplish that is, why don't you give us a little bit of your background? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? And we'll work our way into how you got here.
Yeah, so I'm actually originally from Jersey. So I grew up in Bridgewater. I was there until I was 18 years old. And then I moved out and went to school out in Los Angeles and lived out there for like 6 years. And then spent a lot of my adult life on the West Coast, Denver, Scottsdale, New Mexico. And that's kind of why we launched New Mexico, because it was a place I previously lived and was familiar. That's why we launched that first, right? The market rolled out quicker than New Jersey or New York. Regulations took shape quicker. New Jersey, it went legal in New Jersey and New York, but it took years to kind of get their act together. And, New Mexico is a smaller state. They made it a little easier. And so it was a great first market to experiment, get experience and build our product. And that's kind of why. So it was a place I previously lived and was familiar with, right?
Gotcha.
Are you still
operating in New Mexico?
We're not.
Okay.
No, we pulled out of the market. No, we were there for about 9 months. We serviced about 20 to 25 retailers in the Albuquerque and Santa Fe area. And then we were looking at it from a business standpoint. We had a courier license there that we let lapse. We drove some meaningful revenue, got a lot of good insight. I was having health issues as well. I actually had open heart surgery then a little while after. So I came home to the East Coast to get that done. And then, our goal was always to launch the New Jersey and New York market. So, New Mexico is very saturated. There's unlimited licensing in the state, and it's very low barrier to entry. Anyone with a couple $1,000s can go get a micro license and grow hundreds of plants and manufacture product and extract and retail as well. So it's super cheap. So I think there's in Albuquerque, there's 350 dispensaries for about 500,000 people.
Shit, really?
So yeah, you have like two on every corner. So it provided a lot of great insight, and we did drive great revenue. and ultimately, it set us up for success and helped us start well in the New Jersey market and then New York as well. And, it kind of was a precursor for that. But the market itself is very saturated. Black market is huge. Prices are very, very, low. And it's just all around. It's just not a great market.
I can understand. Quick question. So obviously your plan was always to get back here onto the East Coast and operate in New Jersey, New York markets. I get that. This is where you grew up. What did you do in the cannabis space before you did the New Mexico venture? Or were you in the cannabis space prior to that?
I was in the cannabis space prior. I did multiple things. So I did some credit card processing sales for dispensaries with cashback ATM when I was in Denver. Out of college, that was actually before actually my first heart surgery, and then after that I started a hemp derived business. So we manufactured water soluble ingredients using nanotechnology like emulsions. It has high bioavailability, and basically we put it in beverages, functional foods. So we made products for people domestically and internationally, and then we created our own e-commerce brand. So that was my first stab really into e-commerce technology, was from the hemp derived side.
And where was that at?
Where
was that at?
That was based out of we were based out of Arizona.
Okay.
We had our office in Arizona. But we and our manufacturer that we had a joint venture with was in Cali, in Northern Cali. And we basically, ship product. You're allowed to ship product internationally. It used to be a lot easier. Europe, the UK before novelty foods took shape, and then it became really expensive to kind of conduct business in that market, and then the US as well. So I mean, we were allowed to ship it all over the place. So it was more of a available market. It wasn't a state by state market.
So Jeff said, he just said in my ear, he goes, Scott did say Arizona. He goes, so maybe you weren't talking out your ass when I said Arizona.
No, there's definitely, and the company was called Priscotty Pure. So when we ran it back, we dropped the Pure to just Priscotty. So, I mean, it definitely is confusing. And I mean, we still have our LLCs and stuff like that. They're still open. So, I mean, it could have been,
Yeah, it could have been that.
Confusing. But,
all right, so not that dumb. Go ahead.
You're off the hook. You're off the hook.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. He's not going to let me off the hook. You will. He won't. Let me ask you this real quick.
No, but Arizona, real quick, Arizona is a great market and definitely a place I like spending time. I mean, living in Scottsdale is great.
I love Scottsdale.
Scottsdale's beautiful.
Love going there. Yeah. I'll go to the dispensary before I even go wherever I'm staying. That's like the first stops out on the way out. So what was the moment where you said, you know what, I want to be in the delivery business? Like, and obviously you put an emphasis on technology. So what was that trigger? What was the moment where you said, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I think for me, it was more about, I was looking at the landscape when it came to like CBD and minor cannabinoids. It was really hard to raise money. The market was really crowded. And I was looking at things like, I just didn't feel like it was going to get me to where I wanted to be in my career. And then I was looking at the market, and we had a lot of connections from the cannabis space being in that space. It was a market I liked. I personally liked smoking weed and consuming. So I wanted to stay within that market, but wanted to move to something that was more of a venture scalable model where we could come in, and provide a service that I felt like was missing in the market, and then, scale that into multiple states. So that's really where the delivery aspect came online. And for me, it was more of like also creating not just a product, but an infrastructure and a platform where people can use. And then, maybe someday we come out with our own products in-house, kind of like Amazon does, Amazon Basics, right? So it's more about creating a scalable model that's venture scale and that can be applied to multiple markets, maybe even someday multiple countries, right? And then being able to capture those customers and provide an experience that I thought was missing from the market. So it came down to like, am I going to get to where I want to be in my career? How can I how can I get to where I want to be, stay in the market, and use what I've learned and expand on that. And that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah. But you say you, if I'm not mistaken, you grew up in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how was it growing up in New Jersey? And what part of New Jersey did you grow up? North?
Central Jersey, Bridgewater.
Central Jersey? Okay. So what was that like growing
like
up?
Central Bridgewater.
And did that bring you back to saying, hey, I could do delivery in this area because you're familiar with this area as well?
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like New Jersey was my home turf. I have a lot of friends and family that are still living in New Jersey. It's a place that shaped me, for the first 18 years of my life. But honestly, like, cannabis was very growing up. Cannabis, like, was very. And I didn't grow. I went to high school. I graduated at 13, and so, but cannabis was like really, really like. People really took it as like the devil's lettuce, right? Like it came around really fast. My first experience with cannabis was in LA when I was in college. And that was really when I learned more about cannabis. I had friends in the business. I had friends who actually operated one of the biggest illicit delivery services in LA at the time. So I kind of saw different things, how they marketed, how they went about different fulfillment and everything like that. So that was my really first stab into the cannabis and seeing what the market was about. So, but there is a little bit of that in New Jersey. I think it's a great market with heavy population, so I think there's a lot of potential there. The state's going to do about probably like $1.4 billion in retail sales this year. So there's a huge market compared to something like New Mexico, which is 400 million or 500 million, right? So there's a lot more potential when I look at like a total addressable market. And it is a place I was familiar with. So I knew the landscape. I was comfortable with it. The regulations were good for our model. So all things considering, it checked out.
So what were the regulations? Because that was one of the things I was curious about. What do you have to go through to be a delivery company in either New Mexico and or New Jersey?
Yeah, so New Jersey, New Mexico, we had a courier license, right? So we contracted the drivers directly, and we were basically a courier company. In New Jersey, they have a Class 6 delivery license. Right, the Class 5 is the retail license. Class 6 there's Class 6 delivery license. There's Class 1, 2, 3, 4. There are other things, right? Wholesale manufacturing. But so the way we skinned it was we came at it from an angle like we're a technology provider. So we don't have a Class 6 license, right? We're not we're a technology company and infrastructure, and that's what we're building. And basically we help the dispensaries get those drivers and source them. And we kind of set them up for success, but the dispensaries contract the drivers directly, right? And if you're familiar with like a company called Drizzly, which was an alcohol delivery company that got bought by Uber for like $1.2 billion, that's exactly how they skinned it, right? They were the infrastructure, the marketplace. They were the logistics technology provider, and then the drivers were all contracted directly by the liquor stores. So that's kind of what it was based off. It's based off of, and it has a lot of benefits, right? And especially like 280E, right? So for those not familiar, if you're plant touching, you can only write off your cost of goods sold.
Yeah.
And that makes any business a challenge to make money.
We talk about that all the time here, all the time. Big challenge.
Yeah. So that's exactly why we did it, because talking to accountants, if we got a license and we would be considered plant touching, it would be harder to make a case that we were susceptible to 280E, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a whole different revenue structure. So coming at it from a technology provider has its benefits, and honestly, we want to keep building out the delivery technology side, and maybe someday get involved in other markets outside of cannabis, right? So that's kind of our core competency.
So when you say technology, I mean, we understand the technology involved in doing such a thing, but you actually have the drivers as well, or the drivers, are they retained by the actual dispensary?
So we'll source them and we'll help them facilitate everything, but they're actually contracted directly by the dispensary.
Gotcha.
Currently, that's the way the model works, and we'll
that's how-
provide we provide like a 1099 contractor agreement for our dispensary partners that we spent lots of money getting done in New Mexico. And, so it's added value that protects our dispensary partners, right? So we'll provide these things from more of a consulting basis and use our knowledge to help protect these guys and build out a scalable infrastructure.
So making it very easy for them to make money, basically.
Yeah.
So I guess I understand how you avoid that in terms of the licensing and the technology play. I completely get that. Where does the virtual dispensary come in? Like, how does that come into play? Because you have the site and the products, but you're disclosing that it's coming from dispensaries. So just give us an idea how that works.
Yeah, so we basically have two different models that all function off that back-end logistics system, right? So we have sitting at the top, right? Where if you look at like how the orders are placed, you can either place an order from our dispensary partner's website, right? They each have their own e-commerce website. They use an e-commerce provider like Alpine IQ, Dutchie, Jane, or whatever. So we have that piece. And that orders can flow. People can go on their website, place orders, and they flow into the system, and then we execute it from there. And then we have the virtual marketplace where we'll pull their inventory through, and that's geared more towards lead generation. And our goal with that is to build the brand and become known as the go-to delivery provider in the space. So when consumers are thinking about cannabis delivery, they're turning to Priscotty. So we kind of operate two different ways people can order that all use that same logistics system that it flows into.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I
right?
like
so
what
that's where it comes from.
I like what you're doing a lot because you're not burdened by a ton of regulation with what you're doing. You're a technology provider and you have a technology play, and then the rest of the infrastructure works with you to go ahead and find you the people that they need in order to execute your technology and your systems. And so I like that a lot, and you kind of keep your head out of the mud, so to speak, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you own, we were talking before. You own businesses, so you get it. I mean, you understand the hassle, and when you're coming at it from an investor standpoint, that's what's going to raise the money. That's what they're, that's what's going to get the big acquisition by a DoorDash or Uber Eats in the future, right? It's not going to be a retail based business, so that's why we structured it in that way. I think that's the best way to grow that company, to raise money, and to grow value for all stakeholders involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting. And so right now you're in 6 dispensaries in New Jersey? Do I have that right?
And how long?
Six going on 7, but I'm about to drop a bomb for you guys that no one knows yet, actually. So it's the first time I'm talking about it, but we just signed a contract in Manhattan. So we'll be launching.
Nice.
Nice.
How long have you been in the New Jersey, New York market? Well, I see you just entered New York, but New Jersey.
We officially launched Jersey. We signed our first contract in it was September 2024. It took about a couple months I had my heart surgery, and then it took about a couple months after that to launch. So we didn't end up launching until May 2025. That was when our first delivery took place in Jersey with Blue Violets. And then we were working with Primo, another company who we're no longer working with. But we basically, that was what happened. And then, we've been trying to get into the New York market. Actually, before we launched the New Jersey market, that was my first choice. And then, it just didn't work out. And, but we kept on it, and, we're, pretty soon here. So.
What's competition for you look like in New Jersey right now? I know there's delivery services, but there's no. I'm not sure the technology is behind it like what you have. And so how does that work, at least in your mind?
Yeah, I think there's a couple competitors that hold Class 6 delivery license that are trying to figure it out. I personally, I don't think they're doing a great job from what I've seen. I think the biggest competition is dispensaries doing delivery in-house, honestly, right? Convincing them why that's not a good idea and why, they should be, working with us. So
exactly.
I think that's our biggest obstacle right now is, is that piece. I'm not worried about other delivery companies. I'm more worried about dispensaries trying to do it in house, and that's, I think that's our biggest competitor.
So why? I mean, I think I have a couple of ideas, but why would you tell everybody it's not a great idea for a dispensary to do their own deliveries?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to, honestly, dispensary is a whole nother avenue of a business, right? So it's not their core competency. And a lot of these dispensaries are first time retail dispensary owners, right? They're transitioning from the black market or other markets that they've never been in cannabis before. So running a retail operation is hard enough in itself. And then when you really look at like being able to provide a great user experience for delivery, it's not easy. It's in theory it is, but when it comes to all the different integrations, the POS systems, all the different systems in place, it's not easy. And when you look at like the potential, you really, and this is where the virtual marketplace comes into play, and what our goal is that like the way you drive revenue from a straight to consumer play, like a DoorDash or Uber Eats or like a Grubhub or like a Postmates or like a what's the other company called? It's on the tip of my tongue. GoPuff.
GoPuff,
The way you drive the way you drive revenue from a straight to consumer play is way different and requires a different skill set than in store. And I don't think the dispensaries have the resources. I don't think the dispensaries have the wherewithal a lot of times to really utilize that. So, if we can do our job properly, we can bring them, and my goal is bring them just as much business as they're doing in store straight to consumer, right? So I think that's one of the biggest things is like it's a different business and it takes different skill sets, right? And your technology has to be different. And a lot of times these out of the box e-commerce solutions that are offered in cannabis, they're not great. And there's consumers are not going to buy online and go straight to consumer if the experience isn't great.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And there's just so much going on when it comes to like payments, right? Like the payment situation in cannabis is not great, right? With the federal. So it's like
good.
you don't realize how much of effect that has on the operations and people, people falling off and not purchasing. It's not as easy as just going online and purchasing on a credit card, right? So it's a lot more of an undertaking, and there's a lot of things working against that aspect that we're trying to accommodate for and repurpose and shed new light on.
I mean, there's no doubt that, you often are dealing with first-time business owners or first-time retail dispensary owners, and it's very difficult. They're under a lot of pressure, regulation and compliance and things along that line. And to have a delivery system, even if you think back, if you just go to like a basic model, like a pizza shop, back in the day before all that stuff was there, and somebody ordered a pizza, to figure out where to have somebody on your staff that knew where all these places were, to figure that out, that's not easy. That's a whole nother segment of your business that you have to deal with. So those things are difficult, and this makes it a far more digestible process and something that they can much more easily get involved in and have that and know that it's a service they can depend on.
Yeah, that's a win. You get added sales. Just basically you bring in sales to that company.
Yeah, and if you look at someone like Domino's, once the kind of food delivery business straight to consumer started taking off in the food sector, Domino's invested heavily into their infrastructure for delivery. They invested into a platform, logistics. They kind of became like a pizza logistics company straight to consumer, right? They came out with their app where you can customize your pizza. They were like, okay, this is going to be one of our core competencies. No one goes to Domino's to eat inside the store. People get it delivered to their house, right? So they were like, this is going to be our core competency, and this is the route they went down. And I think Domino's wasn't even on Uber or DoorDash up until like maybe a year or two ago. It was like 10 years or 15 years they weren't on the platforms. So Domino's, you look at it from that perspective, that's a huge company that put a lot of resources in perfecting the straight to consumer business of pizza that a lot of these small mom and pop dispensaries just don't have, right? So,
and will never have.
Yeah, Domino's
Exactly.
is quick on delivery.
Well, I mean, but he's right. Before all of the newer systems you see now, they were the ones who invested all the money in how to quickly get an order efficiently and be able to make money getting an order to you quickly, and they mastered it. And so this is just a further a continuance of that in a way, but it's done at a much higher level.
And just think about it. Like, I spend all my time on this and been doing it for years. We're nearly close to where we need to be, right? And the funding is a different story because I'm sure in the cannabis space it's tough right now, right? With everything going on. So just think about that piece. It's like I spend all my time on this, and we're nowhere near where we need to be, right? As a company and how built out it needs to be to get to where I want to go. So that just says a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. So here's what we're going to do, Scott. We're going to get a commercial lined up. When we come back, we're going to find out about your expansion plans. We want to hear about some of these crazy delivery stories. I'm going to ask you about how your app, whether you actually use the app to help recruit people for the dispensaries, so whether there's like a recruitment part. And then, we'll talk about some other things. You mentioned something before here about whether we had notes on you. We're going to talk about that as well. Mm-hmm. So control room, you good? All right, we'll be back right after this.
Marijuana is huge.
So many dispensaries have resorted to a bland, impersonal shopping experience, where you often don't even get to see a sample of the cannabis you're planning on purchasing before you buy it. If you're looking for that extra personal touch, come check out High Roller Dispensary in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Our staff are avid cannabis connoisseurs who are sure to help you find the strains that fit you best. Whether you're looking for premium flower, edibles, concentrates, or tinctures, we have you covered with over 100 different strains to choose from, all of which are able to be seen, smelled, and thoroughly examined in our elegant showroom. If you're in a rush, we offer a seamless online ordering system that allows for in-depth exploration of all that we have to offer. So whether you're a novice or a seasoned stoner, be sure to stop by High Roller Dispensary and we'll make sure you're floating on Cloud 9 by the time you leave.
Right around here, 15 inches, maybe if you're younger, you go up to 19 inches, Yeah, you already went the big age.
Sometimes a CIO might make commitments to a CEO that they just can't fulfill. Mm-hmm. And it's very hard to succeed in those environments. You really want to be able to set the expectation right up front.
How would you feel with no sex, no weed for a month or two? I'm going to be really angry.
I feel sorry for Jake.
Yeah, Jake's going to get fucked up.
Wow, this is Phil. Yeah, for this is all you. This is the Cough Country OG pink hoodie.
Hey, I'm OG OG Ganja Goddess, and you're watching Cough Country TV. Peace.
This is Chef Marvin Jane, and you're watching Cough Country TV, live from New York.
Alrighty, we are back. What's going on, guys? If you're just tuning in now, this is Late Night Green. We are doing an interview series, and we are here with Scott Prisco. He is the CEO of the delivery service and technology company called Priscotty. Welcome back, Scott. Where's Scott? There he is. What's up, brother? Hey, what's
Scott,
going on?
the innovator.
What's up, dudes?
What is going on, my man? So before we left, one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, so the virtual the virtual dispensary, that becomes a service that you're offering them. It's almost I think you mentioned lead generation in there. So do you have different levels of packages, and does a package include them being able to include the product like that on your site?
Yeah, so we have different pricing structures depending on where the order comes from. Exactly. So one, we charge based on a percentage of the subtotals, right? So we have different fee structure based on where the order came from. So exactly, it's more expensive. It's better unit economics for us, right? So that's what we're really pushing. And as ultimately these dispensaries are becoming more competitive and prices are lowering, average order values are going down, as we charge on a percentage basis, that having the extra percentage helps, right? So that's kind of what exactly.
Is it a la
my
carte?
goal with the white label? No, I mean not necessarily. Yes and no, because we're selective with who we take on, and really when I look at the partnerships that we want to get into right now, it's more of like, how can we do both? In the future, I think that they'll split off and be more a la carte style once our infrastructure is better. I mean, I think that's the plan.
Right.
But right now, it's more of like we do both with each client.
Yep.
However, I really do want to, as we continue progressing on the delivery technology side, I think there is a huge market to be very competitive in almost offering like a courier style flat fee or something for doing their orders, right, and providing that technology and getting that done. So I think that right now it's not necessarily a la carte, even though it's two servicing offerings, but eventually we'll get there.
No, I think what you said makes 100% sense. You're at a point and you're in a stage where it makes sense to offer the maximum value to them. Picking and selecting partners that actually want both of these, it makes sense for you because A, the economics of it, and B, the implementation of it, right? So it's easier and it makes more sense at this stage of the game to go ahead and say, hey, take both parts of this. This is what you need. And then I agree with you in time. As you scale, I think that it makes sense to be able to take on a marketing only client if that's something you wanted to do, or a delivery only client. That's all a possibility for you.
Exactly, and sometimes like if like Bay Street, right? They were doing in-house delivery before they contracted with us, so they came to us with like 15 orders a day. So being affordable. My goal is to make it affordable where people are doing their own delivery, but they choose to roll with us because it's just more cost effective, right? Like you can do these 15 deliveries a day yourself or work with us and we can do it more efficient and cheaper. So that's really the point I want to get to on that. We call it white label, right? Their brand, our product essentially is is how we structure it. But that's really what I want to get to is like making it so affordable and efficient that it's cheaper for them just to outsource it.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to think twice. Right.
So these partners you have in New Jersey, what is the territory like? So is it like North Jersey?
Around each dispensary, how far do they go? Is there like a limit?
What's your total territory like?
Yeah, so that's contracted on an individual basis, and that's something we look at from a logistics perspective and look at like realistically, what can the store cover? What are we comfortable covering and still providing a fast turnaround and great user experience? So that radius might be different in New York or Hoboken than it would be in, Red Bank or Central Jersey, New Brunswick, right? So it's more of a case by case basis, and ultimately with the virtual dispensary, we're using these dispensaries as our dark store. Call it like a dark store, right? We're using their inventory, right? So we're looking at how can we service this area and utilize the inventory and make logistics efficient, and provide the customers with the best experience possible. So that's our goal, and that's
So when you guys are putting the deal with the dispensary, I guess it's a mutual thing that you guys discuss and figure out what areas they want to be covering versus what you logistically can handle, and you think that makes sense.
Yeah, and sometimes we tell them like, hey, this is not going to work. We wouldn't recommend this, right? Or they come in and they're like, we want to charge for delivery, but their competitor down the street is offering free delivery, and we're like, yeah, look, like that's not going to get the job done. Right. So it comes at it from a real honest perspective with our experience. And that's what you get with us. It comes from a real honest opinion of like what that looks like based on our experience from doing this.
And how do you break that down? You don't use zip codes. Are you using like I guess some sort of geofencing or something at a more granular level?
Yeah, think of it like a bullseye, like as the crow flies, right? So you'll have a bullseye and then a circle around it. We use JSON. It's something called a JSON map. We use JSON maps. They're custom coded.
Gotcha.
So for all you tech people out there, but yeah, exactly. It's not zip codes. We don't work off zip codes. It's more off zones, if that makes sense.
And then your system offers a map, I guess, a coverage map that they can use on their website. Is that part of how that works, or do they just kind of create?
It goes in the back end. No, it goes in the back end and it filters it out from the front end where people can order from. Yeah.
Gotcha. So what's expansion look like? What's next? I know you said number 7 is on its way. You dropped the bombshell about New York. What else? Like, give us what does that look like over the next couple years? How are you going to build that out?
Yeah, I mean, over the next couple years, I would like to really focus on more dense areas. I like the e-bike structure, New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. I like the idea of like Hoboken, Jersey City, expanding to more cities like more dense cities, Trenton, like that in Jersey. Eventually, we'll take it out. Hopefully PA. I think PA could be a great market.
There we go.
Philadelphia, Pittsburgh. So we're working on perfecting both the car model for more suburban areas and then the e-bikes for more densely populated cities. I think there's opportunity in both areas.
And the workforce for those type of services is already there. It's baked into the community. Those folks are there who do this already. So that's helpful.
Yeah. And we're not reinventing the wheel, right? Exactly. We're not reinventing the wheel. And a lot of times drivers are doing both at the same time, especially when we start a new program and the demand, because they're getting paid per delivery, the demand is not as high. It makes perfect sense for them to go continue what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And phasing this in. So that's yes. We're not. That's the good part about a lot of these delivery providers is that we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah,
it's already being done, right? So we're taking a tried and true model and applying it to an industry that's underserved right now in this sector. But it's something that's already been doing. It's something that's already been done. There's a proven demand and there's a proven workforce. And a lot of times, my goal is, how can we get these drivers more money, right? Because when you're looking at food, you're looking at food delivery. Average order values across the board are like $33 on DoorDash or Uber Eats. So if DoorDash and Uber Eats takes 20% of that, like you do the math, it's how are they going to pay a driver and make money? There's no money to be made. They're operating on razor thin margins, and ultimately the drivers suffer from that because there's high turnover, right? There's constant high turnover, and it's not really. And when you factor in like the cost and wear and tear on your car and the gas, like, are they even really making money? I mean, no. There's online forums out there that say they don't when they calculate that stuff, right? It's more of like robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? And so that's essentially what's going on.
So you conquer this with the higher ticket items. I mean, basically higher per trip.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because if you think about it, some of our average order values are $1.60. So you compare that, if I'm taking 20% on $1.60 versus 20% on 30. Yeah,
that's a party.
Yep, and then it also yields the drivers bigger tips, and so you can see where the whole density game comes into play and how that works. So does South Jersey present a problem because of its lack of density?
No, I think South Jersey would still be a great market. I think there's still a lot of business to be had in South Jersey. I think, and especially since I see with the state regulations of New Jersey cracking down on the black market, that's traditionally how people got cannabis, was through delivery. So I see a big avenue to really take that business and redirect it into a more legal route.
And it actually.
It's just different. It's just.
So different. do you have your eye on South Jersey? Is there stuff that's potential in your pipeline for? Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked
to a couple people. We've had a couple.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Scott. No, go ahead.
Well, we've talked to a couple people. We've had some deals on the table. Nothing really concrete, but it's definitely out there, and it's definitely something of interest to us.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think South Jersey and Philadelphia are synonymous in many ways. And when you build your path into South Jersey, I think that's going to automatically walk you across the river is what's going to happen. That's my opinion. And he's shaking.
I agree, and I think
he's shaking his head. It's right. He's in agreement. We just hit the plan, the master plan.
Yeah, I think Philadelphia would. I mean, South Jersey is Philly pretty much. I mean, most of everyone in South Jersey is repping Philly, right?
That's right.
I mean, it's essentially Philly. I mean, so it's
really
you said it's very, very synonymous.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And so let me ask you this. You and I talked about we're gonna take a stab. I think next week you and I are gonna take a stab at this and have some of the drivers associated with your program come on and tell us some of their unbelievable stories and play some games with us and have some fun with that. So we're looking forward to that. But Todd and I were hoping that you could share a couple of gems with us tonight on some things that have happened since you started doing this.
Yeah.
I put you on the spot.
We hear all sorts of things. Yeah, I mean, so first and foremost, the good stuff. I'll start with the positive stuff. So,
sure.
Like our drivers will get gifts from people. So they'll have customers give them gifts, like almost like the old school milkman, right? They'll give them, cannabis, like drinks or soda or like all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. We've had some crazy shit happen. Like in New Mexico too, we had more stuff like just like customers being belligerently drunk and answering the door and tipping $100, right? Like, and then, crazy stuff. I mean, you see it all. And then, customers like younger kids trying to get their cannabis, order it and use their mom's ID. And we're like, you can't do that. It doesn't work like that. So you see it all. People trying to you see people trying to circumvent the rules because they think, oh, I don't have to go into the dispensary. I'll just get it ordered. How hard can it be? And I'm a 17-year-old kid, and I got my mom's ID. She'll be home. It was her order. I could just take it for her, and we're like, that's not how it works.
My mom told me to do it.
Yeah,
that shit would fly. Would fly.
My mom ain't blaming.
Bro,
he ain't getting away with that.
we had a woman who back in New Mexico who was a really valued customer. And she was almost in like a rehab facility, and she would get cannabis delivered to her rehab facility, and then the people at the facility found out what it was.
Wow.
She was at a rehab facility,
They thought it was
looked
big.
like Gucci bags.
Yeah, they thought it was jewelry.
Yeah,
or some
they jewelry,
handbags
some
and
nice
shit.
clothing or something. Shit.
At first, they thought it was food, and then they
Exactly.
finally caught on. And you have this woman literally ordering, and she was so upset when we told. Like the company reached out to us and was like, "Hey, you can't deliver here anymore." And we were like, "Okay, we get it." And that customer, she was so upset. I mean, she was like,
but yeah, damn right she was upset.
She needed her medical.
She needed her medicine. She's probably telling them, like, listen, Priscotty got the best chicken parm in town.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it. The thing that you said. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. It's on your tip.
Well,
of your
no,
tongue.
yeah, you. I mean, the more like when you're dealing with customers, you see it all, right? So the good, the bad, the funny, even just drivers, man. Like, we have e-bike drivers that are like doing e-bike delivery. They're contracted to do e-bike delivery, and then they show up in a car, and we're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we told you a million times, it's e-bike delivery. Like, so you just see it all. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe his
really
bike was in the shop for repairs or something.
Funny stuff.
Yeah,
well, you know what?
Keep
writing these down, because at some point you could probably write a book, and you'll write a book of all these fucking hilarious stories on weed deliveries. But the one thing that Scott touched on when he first gave his first example is the generosity of people in the cannabis world towards other people who are doing a service for them. And see, I think from a recruiting perspective, that's a real advantage, is to really, if a delivery driver knows stoners and they know the people who make up this industry and the people who use weed, these are great people who are generous people. And so I bet you I'll go out and say that the tips are probably far better on cannabis deliveries, not necessarily because the ticket amount is more than a food. It's the people, right? Yeah. It's the people that make it so great.
Yeah, I mean, tips average out to about $6 to $8 per delivery for our drivers. And what you'll see is some people tip a lot and some people won't tip at all. So you'll see someone dropping a $30 tip on a $150 order, or you'll see someone not tipping at all. So it averages out. But that's really the breakdown. And the drivers get so disheartened when they don't get a tip. Like, these guys take it personal.
Fuck yeah, they do.
And I'm like, guys, look, I get where you're coming from. It's gonna average out. I tell the people it's going to average out. I get where you're coming from, but not everyone has that mindset, and we just got to roll with it.
And you're right. And you're right by
affect you.
You're right, and you're right by saying it will average out, because it will. Somebody won't tip, and somebody's going to overtip, and it will average out. But it is demoralizing, right? When you're working for tips and you do it, and then all of a sudden there's no tip. That kind of sucks. I get that. I get that part. So all in all, all of the articles that we're reading are super positive. You're getting some really good press out there. What are your drivers telling you? Like, what are there any things that they are able to share with you that you're able to implement and make improvements on right away that may help them or help the business?
Yeah. I mean, one of our drivers, Nina, in Monmouth County, who I want to bring on, she's hilarious. I mean, she came up with a great idea. She was like, let's give these guys munchies every order. Like, let's give them a bag of chips. Like, let's go to the store and just get like a king size candy pack or like a fun bag of party pack of chips. And let's give out chips with these orders. And I was like, yeah, that's a genius idea. So things like that, right? We're always looking to improve on, and ultimately these people are at the ground level and they see the business more than we do on the day to day. So we're always looking to implement stuff and figure out ways where we can increase tips, figure out ways where we can, make their job easier. You were always open to that. And that's and driver retention is a huge thing. You can have all the orders in the world, but like, if you don't have happy drivers, that's something I've learned the hard way. It's trust me, it doesn't make the business model doesn't work without the drivers.
Nope, it's people. It's always about
one of the
the
most
people.
important pieces.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't get the shit delivered if you don't have people who are happy to deliver it.
It's great. We're entering in springtime now, the weather and everything, so things should be looking up. Get these e-bikes out.
Well, I mean, we just had some issues with some of our clients with these crazy weather. I mean, some of our clients were really upset with us because the drivers they took off and when it was -35 and snowing, these dispensaries are like, your service is unreliable. I'm like, what do you mean? It's negative 35 and it's snowing a foot out there. How can you expect these people to go out there and eat in e-bikes?
See, that's just bad planning.
It's created a lot of issues.
Bad planning. And I put my order in. I know the storm is coming at least 2 days before.
Because you have fucking common sense. Like, these guys think no matter what. And listen,
this is true.
I understand the logistics space a little bit too. And people, like, when they want their shit done, they're willing to ignore everybody's safety.
This is true.
They're willing to ignore what they see out the window, and they're ready to point the finger at somebody.
This is true.
And it ain't themselves for ordering it on a snow day. I can tell you that. So, how do you?
That's also from a delivery perspective. That's, I mean, when it snows and it rains, that's when the most convenient time to order delivery too. So there's that catch-22 from a customer's perspective. That's the best time to get it. From a driver's perspective, that's the worst time to do the delivery.
That could be a nice little niche. Look, I got a big boy Jeep. Get your Jeep, division. They'll come out in pretty much any weather. Premium. Yeah, I'll deliver.
The Jeep division.
I'm gonna get there.
So is there anything contractual you have to agree to in terms of weather delivery? I mean, while we're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to have to moving forward, but that's definitely moving forward, yes.
I got you.
No, it created a lot of issues for sure.
I'm glad
the worst is behind us.
I get it. This has been super informative. So when we right before we came on, when you and I we were talking for a minute, and we said that we had notes, and you go, "What do you mean you got notes on me? You want to see the notes we have on you?" We're full.
What you got?
We're full. Yeah, we're going to show you. So Jeff's going to pull it up right now. But I'll show you kind of notes that we get.
Do a little bit of homework. We do a
little bit. I don't know, and I want to see what he thinks about it, because he said, like, you got notes on me. I want to see if these notes are even at any good at all.
Let's see what you got.
They're coming.
And if they're not any good, we're going to blame Jeff for that.
We are.
And by the way, I wanted to smoke on this podcast, but I think my landlord would look for any excuse, and this is live, would look for any excuse to tell me I broke the contract. So we cut that idea.
Well, when you come here, you're welcome to smoke. We don't do a whole lot of smoking during the
interview session, but then the
late night green, we let it rip later on.
We just go kill it then.
So, but we have a sesh coming up. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to call you in the next day or two. You and I are going to talk. We have many more things to talk about. Hey, Jeff, can you put that in production? So.
Okay. So pretty much you got your basic profile on you, right? Your name. Your date of birth.
Okay, we didn't talk about that. He is that he got what did he get? He got Did
I tell you Phil can't read?
I can fucking read. Go down a little bit more. So it tells us why he started the company. So it says Scott originally worked with cannabis nano emulsification technology used for beverages and functional foods before moving into delivery. He noticed a major problem. Cannabis delivery sounds simple, but executing it profitably and legally is extremely difficult. So he built this to solve those issues. Business strategy we get. So it does say that you launched in New Mexico first. I should have read this. So I actually do get the...
Stupid. Yeah, you'll get that today.
I got it. And then, turn Scott's audio on so he can talk during when he's not on screen, if you could. We got you, Scott.
Check out. I mean, I've been honest, so it checks out.
Okay, so what we have here is pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Okay, because here we have your daily routine. Let's see that. Let's see if this is.
You got the smoothie?
I don't know if we have the smoothie. Let's see if we have the smoothie. It says that you wake up at 7 a.m., prayers and affirmations, gym, works out until 10 or 11. Like.
That's hilarious.
Not works out. Works until.
Yeah.
Oh, works until. Oh, shit. I thought it said it works out. My bad. Is it right?
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, that's essentially, That's essentially my morning routine.
It says that your leadership philosophy is execution matters more than ideas, team quality determines success, and cannabis industry requires resilience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And
Execution is everything in startups, for sure.
And hold on, and don't go down. It says who gave him this award? He got a recognition, including the most influential CEO cannabis delivery technology in 2025.
Ah, that's impressive.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's a little trophy. You know, I work hard, so it's nice to be able to be recognized like that for sure.
It is.
You know,
It
even
is.
though, you know, as an entrepreneur, I'm super hard on myself, and I'm never where I want to be, right? Like, and when I reach that, I always want something else, you know. So it's, you know, but it's a nice little take a step back and be able to like get recognition for that. It's nice.
You got your
Jeff,
flowers.
put Scott in overlay. Yeah, there you go. And then keep going, because we're not done yet, are we? Oh, we are done, or we're not done? We're done. So that's our intelligence that we had on you before we went into this. Not bad, right?
Where'd you get that? The CIA?
I don't know. I don't know where we got it from. I think it came from the Philippines. They hand it to us, and then we just read it.
There you go.
So all right. So here we go.
That's
Scott.
funny.
I want to say this, and I'll let Todd say something. I just want to say that it was great having you on. It was great meeting you. I knew that we would hit it off, and so I think it's great that you were here to be able to explain this and talk about your background to the audience, and we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna come in. We'll smoke up that podcast room. We'll hotbox the shit out of it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's
what we do.
We gotta do something else. That's
Oh yeah,
you guys are great. You guys are great.
This is just the beginning, my friend. Just the beginning. So Todd, last word for you.
Yeah, you know, it's good. You bring good energy. You're very innovative and very ambitious. Looking forward to you even expanding more, and looking forward, you know, your success.
Our kind of peeps.
Thank you. I mean, look, the world will wear you down. So you gotta be persistent and energetic and keep it going. You know, they'll fucking wear you down.
It really will. It's fucking brutal sometimes, man. So, all right. So, Scott, this is the first of many conversations. We look forward to having you back on next week on the late night show where we can put our hair down and we can get loose and have some fun. And then also meet some of your drivers and hear some of these stories. We can't wait to do that. So we're looking forward to that as well. Last word for you, my friend, before we wrap it up.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate y'all and taking interest in this. And like I said, I really enjoy your perspective. You guys have also a great business perspective, not just cannabis perspective on things. So I enjoy talking to people that really get it and understand from a business perspective how the challenges, you know, that we're dealing with and you know, the industry landscape and everything like that. So I appreciate that.
Guys, so we appreciate you. So guys, go out there and how can people reach you? And what's the best way on social media? Give us some ways to
So connect with us on social media, Instagram. We use Instagram a lot. LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I mean, go onto our site. You can submit a contact form. Priscotty.com. Those are the best ways.
Okay, cool. Okay. Cool. Guys, go out there.
Hit
them
up. Hit Priscotty.
Yeah, and if you're in North Jersey, make sure you get some damn deliveries from Priscotty. This is where you want to invest your time, and you're going to get a great experience, as we talked about today, because that's the name of the game, is providing a smooth, easy, nice experience. That's it. So Scott, we appreciate you being here, guys. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, tell a friend. Let's get the word out. Let's get going here. We got to get things moving. We will be back. There is no late night show tonight, guys. So if you're sticking around for a late night show, don't stick around. There's no late night show. So we're going to be back on Thursday, and we've got all kinds of good stuff for you. Next week is St. Patty's Day, and we've got
something going on for that.
We got something going on for that too. So that's on Tuesday of next week. Also, just another reminder that There's no new Canologist this Friday. It will be next Friday is episode 14. But if you haven't seen the first episodes 1 through 13, go check out the Canologist. Steve is mixing up some great drinks that are non-alcohol mocktails. You guys want to check this out for sure. Scott,
I heard Steve went off a little bit, man. Canologist, man, made too many drinks, and he in a coma right now.
That's not true.
So he won't be back till next week?
That's a lie.
Okay.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. I spoke to him today. He's doing just fine.
Oh, okay. He came through for a minute?
He's fine.
All
He's
right.
fine. So, Scott, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being here tonight. And, guys, we will see you on Thursday. Scott, we'll see you next week, and we'll talk sooner than that. Guys, peace. Take care.